Hello, this is Dr. Mercola, and I've been practicing medicine for over 25 years. I've been passionate about using simple, inexpensive lifestyle modifications, especially like dietary choices, to improve your health. And in my study of nutrition, I've come to learn and appreciate that one of the most powerful things and one of the most important choices that you can make is what fat you put in your body. Now, it is really crucial that you understand that omega-3 fats are vitally important to use, and that omega-3 to omega-6 ratio is crucial, and it's because it is just vital that you get enough of that into your diet. Now, another important part is to stay away from the bad fats, and we all know there's no disagreement from any of the experts in health that trans fats are bad for you, although about 20 years ago so that was somewhat controversial, but right now there is absolutely no controversy. Trans fat can increase your risk of chronic degenerative diseases, neurodegenerative diseases, cancer, heart disease, you name it. It's bad news and you really want to avoid it. But unfortunately, trans fat has vilified a type of fat that's been associated with typically, which is saturated fat. So many of the studies that purport negative consequences from the intake of saturated fat are actually documenting the dangers of consuming trans fat. But it is important to understand that there's a lot of negative media about saturated fat, and it's not true, because we all need some amounts of saturated fat, some more than others. Now, I think one of the best sources of saturated fat is coconut oil, and it's something I use personally. I happen to love coconuts and coconut oil. Some people don't like coconuts. They don't like the smell of coconuts. If that happens to be you, then it's probably not a good idea to use a lot of coconut oil. But when you're going to use, many people use fats to cook with, and there's some real important principles you need to understand if you're going to stay healthy. Now, there are a lot of healthy unsaturated fats, the polyunsaturated fats, and these would be many of the vegetable oils like sesame seed oil, sunflower oil, flaxseed oil, great oils. But when you heat these oils, because they have unsaturated fats in there, these unsaturated fats are highly susceptible, highly sensitive to damage and oxidative damage when you heat the oils. So the more you heat them, the worse it is. They can form things like crosslinking. They can become polymerized. The bonds can shift. They form toxic, cyclic fats that really can cause havoc and wreck up your biochemistry and physiology. So you really do not want to heat oils to cook. Now, I am a strong believer and proponent of having as much raw food as possible. And I really don't advocate cooking food much at all. But if you choose to cook food, because a lot of people do, then please, please, please select an oil that is not going to be heat damaged as much when you cook with it. So one of the best oils you can possibly cook with, far better than olive oil, because even olive oil has unsaturated fat in it. So that one of the best oils you can cook with is coconut oil, because it is essentially nearly all saturated fat. And because there's not much unsaturated fat in there, hardly any at all, it can't cause these damaged molecules. So if you're going to cook, I could strongly recommend cooking with coconut oil. Now, coconut oil is a bit unusual if you haven't worked with it before. It tends to be a solid at room temperature, at most room temperatures. It has a relatively high melting point of about 76 degrees or so. So unless you're in the summer and it's like 80 degrees in your home, it's going to be a solid, certainly if you put it in the fridge. But in most of the winter months and most of the year, it will be a solid. And the warmer, the closer it gets to 80 degrees or so, the more likely it'll be a liquid. It's important to know. Now, there's some other benefits of coconut oil. Now, coconut oil is also full of something called medium chain triglycerides, or MCT oils. It's full of them, and you've probably heard a lot of the benefits about that, but it also has medium chain fatty acid, something called lauric acid or monolaurin, and the only other known high concentration of this fat is in breast milk. Very powerful immune stimulator, so that's something that you'd like to incorporate into your diet for sure. And one of the other uses of coconut oil is that you can use it as a massage or a skin oil. And it's important to understand that if you do use a skin lotion or a moisturizer, that anything you put on your skin is really going to go into your bloodstream. It's just, there's a direct route to it, and there's many medications that are applied this way. So if you don't feel comfortable eating the skin lotion or moisturizer you're using, then I would recommend not using it. Consider something like a high-quality coconut oil. Now, what is a high-quality coconut oil? Well, first of all, I'd recommend getting something organic because that's going to minimize any risk of potential toxics, pesticides in it. But then you also, an important component is you want to take it off and you want to smell it. You want to see how it smells. Does it smell like fresh coconuts, like you just harvested the coconut or cracked it open? If it doesn't, you probably have a good one. If it doesn't smell, then you really want to consider finding another one. So, and we've searched long and hard, and we found one that's literally outstanding. So, but there are others, and but if it meets those criteria, then that's clearly one you're going to want to consider. So hopefully this has been helpful, because what we want to do in the site is give you loads of information, that the basic truths that you can have, so that once you have this information, you can avoid toxic medications and surgery, so that you can start to take control of your health.